Greetings, I'm Zak, and today I'm doing a video that has been on the cards for, let's say, quite a while now. But I will say, however, this isn't exactly the iteration of this particular video that I was expecting to do, and that is very much the case because of, just happenstantially, I was invited to go and have a look at a flea market. In fact, in Biggleswade, that was on like the 5th of April, and like, of all the things to find a flea market, it could have been DVDs, Blu-rays, physical media. That's what I was hoping for. There was a stall dedicated solely to this very specific thing, a very specific niche that would, quite frankly, and I can only imagine, would have actually appealed to me in this specific area. And that was LASERDISCS. It was a LASERDISCS stall. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know anyone in the vicinity near me that has LASERDISCS, quite frankly. Now, LASERDISCS, to those that don't know, are basically not really equatable to vinyl, but they are shaped like vinyl, shall we say. They are basically massive DVDs. It's an analog format that came out before DVDs, which are obviously much smaller. So at this flea market, I uncovered this particular stall. I happened to purchase a few of them for a great deal. I think the grand sum was actually £70. I decided to treat myself, very naughty of me, but they sit very snug in the collection that I've amassed over the last year or so. So in this particular video, I am going to be looking at the ones I got at this particular flea market, as opposed to the full collection, which we will see in a later video down the line, because there's quite a few in a box I can see just off screen that way, and I'm really excited to show you some of the titles that I have in there. But for now, to wet one's whistle, to kind of give a flavouring of my physical media LASERDISC collection, I'm going to go into the ones that I got at this flea market. So, for starters, this is actually the one that I got, and I showed you all on the social media side of things. So this is a LASERDISC. You can see it's very kind of unique. It's very much in like what you would expect like a vinyl LP case to look like. It's very thin, very kind of wide, 12-inch disc is inside this particular packaging. Obviously, the kind of the niche of this is the fact that these particular LASERDISCs, or for the most part, are indeed Japanese. So, to be fair, it doesn't make reading the boxes and that particularly easy, but there's just something aesthetically pleasing about looking at all the designs and things. So this is the original 1933 King Kong on Japanese LASERDISC. Did I ever expect to have that in my collection? No, I didn't, but I'm so glad I managed to stumble across it in the wild, of all things. You'd think that it would be such a niche like little collection like point there that you'd have to specifically look for it, but I stumbled across it quite like happenstantially, kind of off the cuff, which was really exciting. So with this, we know that I've done previous retro physical media, like looks at CEDs, UMD discs. This is probably the biggest collection of kind of retro defunct physical media that's outdated. And to be fair, of the different types of physical media that I've got, like, this is very much equatable to the CED side of things, because I would be very lucky to have a CED player and by extension a LASERDISC player. Now, a bit of a grey area for myself regarding the LASERDISCs is I know that there does seem to be a bit of region coding. This is where we started to see the region coding coming into physical media releases with the LASERDISCs. Now, I've got a few NTCS one, so that's like the Region 1 America side of things, as well as some like Region 2 PAL version things as well, along with the obviously the Japanese side of things. So yes, this is an NTSC coded one, so that would probably require a player of that distinction. Now, also regarding these LaserDiscs, which I will actually take one out in a bit to give you a good look at it, because it is very much a massive DVD. You'll be like, how did that ever fit in a player? How was that ever a practical means of viewing a movie? And quite frankly, I can't tell you that it was, but probably the major thing regarding these that was kind of like the drawback was very much the storage, the size of these, and the price label that was attached to them. It was funny because I did actually do a bit of a search, like in comparison, because on a few of these there's like price labels and things, but in actuality, I think it was actually the one I've got next, which is the 7th voyage of Sinbad here, 5,000 Japanese yen. That is equatable in modern terms in the UK to about £26 something. So for back in the day, that would have been quite a considerable price label. And I mean, to be fair, from today's standards, you can get a 4K disc for basically just under that as well. So that's an interesting kind of comparison there. So you may also notice that there is kind of this kind of sleeve that I've put on a lot of these things, and that is very much for the case of protecting them from use and things, dust and all that jazz. I think it's a good kind of precaution to kind of preserve them as much as possible. We've seen similar likes when it comes to the Star Wars figures, the Steel books, the limited edition Doctor Who things. I think it's very much a good thing to do, because if I actually go into this one now, okay, you will see that it does actually have this kind of very flimsy bit of card. Now, it's quite actually amazing that this stuff has managed to survive its way all the way from obviously Japan and things in this form, and being in pretty like miraculous, like undamaged condition and things. So that's really quite exciting. Now I can do unboxings of all the different LaserDiscs and things that I have, but if I do that, that is going to take a considerably large amount of time, so I will do those upon request on these particular releases. However, let's dive into it now. Let's actually have a look at what a LaserDisc is, because we've only really looked at the front. So inside the LaserDisc holder, you will have what is this kind of like little plastic sleeve, and this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a LaserDisc. How crazy is that? So if I actually just put this down to one side for just a moment, and I will take that out. I will take it out for you. Don't you worry. I wouldn't deprive you of that. There is actually, in a lot of these particular instances, more artwork and cards and things. Much like more modern releases, it does come with like information sleeves and booklets. Well, I say booklets. It's more like a pamphlet, a leaflet type thing. It's very much like a one bit of paper, but it does have all the information and stuff on it as well, which is actually really cool. Now, when it comes to stuff like this is obviously like a behind the scenes story of like King Kong and RKO and stuff, and when it comes to obviously the making of the film, which is really cool. You'd think, why on earth are you collecting this? You can't read Japanese. Now, one little funky thing that comes with modern technology is Google Translate. So yes, you can take a picture of these respective things and then read it in English. That is a feature that obviously was not available when these originally came out, but I think it's an added layer of enjoying this particular kind of type of thing, if that makes sense. Because, let's be fair, you can also get the like English versions of these things and things, but it's very much a price game. I was very lucky to get these for the price that I did, because I mean, this is the original King Kong. Let's not forget that, the original King Kong on Laserdisc, and considering the original prices and what you could expect for something like this, I think I got a really good deal. So shout out to the seller at that flea market, who is now on my saved sellers list on eBay as well. If anyone wants to know that information, please just get in contact. That would be really, really helpful. They are based in the UK, and I would highly recommend them. Okay, so let's actually dive into this. Be very careful. It's very much like a DVD, isn't it? Okay. We're in. There's no turning back. Look at this! Look at this thing! Look at this shiny, crazy, frisbee, buzzsaw looking thing. That is amazing. And quite frankly, it is pristine, so I'm going to put it quite promptly back into this sleeve. There we go. So, just for size comparison now, if I just get the likes of... Okay, here we are. We have a Blu-ray here, which is the same size as a DVD. That's the size difference. That's the size difference we're talking about. And you can see how this is much more practical than one of these bad boys. And undoubtedly a lot easier to store and the like. So if I now carefully put this back into this particular sleeve, gotta be slightly careful whilst doing this because I don't want to damage anything. Okay, well, back in. Nice and snug, it's like it never left the box. I will now put this back into the protective sleeve, as I would probably recommend if you were going to start collecting this particular line of things, as it is pretty fun. I think you do so more for the artwork in this particular sense than like for actually watching the movie, because it is a redundant format. You are going to get better quality versions of these movies on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K than you would get on one of these, and the players by comparison are considerably cheaper. So I mean, they're outmoded, they're not being made anymore. There's only a certain amount that are actually out there in the wild to purchase, and they are going to come at a premium price label. But the thing I actually think I wanted to say a bit earlier was the fact that regarding the Japanese and foreign releases of these, I was actually considering whether or not they had like menu screens and things, or like audio options, because again, when it comes to the translation of all this information, it can be quite a lot to look at. So if anyone out there can actually tell me whether or not, if I did get a Laserdisc player, would it give me an audio option to view these things? Because that would be actually really, really interesting to know, and would kind of tip me on the edge to get more to getting a Laserdisc player or a CED player, other than just using them for aesthetically pleasing purposes. So we all know I have the original King Kong on Laserdisc. I think that's firmly established right now. So if I just put that one to the side, the next one was indeed Sinbad and the not the Eye of the Tiger, the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. This artwork, look at that. That just looks phenomenal. It's stunning. And when I started collecting Laserdiscs, one of my big kind of things was I wanted to get like Ray Harryhausen stuff, stop motion stuff, because they're renowned for having really good artwork and things. Now, I do have quite a good selection. I think almost all of the Ray Harryhausen stuff on Blu-ray and the like off to my left here. But aesthetically, let me just look at that. I mean, you just don't quite get the scale or the awe from like a small Blu-ray box compared to something like this. I think these really are like an underappreciated form of art, more so, and I think there's more to like having something like this than there is to like putting a poster on the wall, if that makes sense. I have actually got, or I'm looking to put in various places in the room, like maybe mounts, like vinyl mounts, because again they're very equatable to the same size. It's actually, most of them that are over there are actually stored in a what is deemed a vinyl box, so anything that's labelled vinyl storage will work with Laserdiscs, I can assure you of that. So next up is a movie again. To be fair, most of these movies are basically duplicates. They are ones that I have available to watch by other means. So essentially why I've got these is because they look awesome and having those like shelves and mounts across the room and things, it means I can easily change them at a moment's notice, and I do think that customization of like the empty spaces on the walls would actually come to great benefit. So this one, any guesses? Well, I can tell you what it is. It's actually them, but actually in Japanese, the title is Activity X. You can see on the X there, that was the sign on the label, on the price label on the actual flea market stall itself, which was quite interesting. A little kind of side note. Oh, there you go. Just turn it around just to confirm my theories. It's them there, and you have the classic poster in Japanese there as well, which is really cool. It's a really great movie. If you haven't seen them, it's very much a classic 50s sci-fi movie that is definitely worth your attention. If you haven't seen it, HMV Premium Collection does a great release of that, so definitely check that one out. Next up, we actually have the only English release in this particular bundle of them, and that is 1 Million Years BC. Now, obviously, starring Rachel Welch. Is that how you say that? Rachel Welch? Such an iconic cover. Definitely one for putting on the wall. It's marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. I cannot fault this particular one, especially because it's got, like, dinosaurs in the background of things. It's a great movie, and you can just dive in to all that information on the back. You can probably read that. It's absolutely phenomenal. There's always going to be the argument with these particular releases that why are you collecting them if you know you can't watch them? And I can understand that, but I think it really does come down to the artwork in this particular sense. It's collecting things more so, not the things you're missing, it's more to emphasize your like of other things, if that makes sense. So if I've got a release of a Godzilla movie, perchance, just to kind of you kind of got an idea what's coming now. But if I like a particular Godzilla movie, getting a Laserdisc only emphasises my like of that movie. Not to show off by any means, but to further indulge myself into the idea that that's a good movie, I really enjoy it, I want to see more of that movie, I like displaying that movie, and yada yada yada. I'm pretty sure you get the gist by now that I'm a Godzilla fan. So if I go into the final two of this particular one, I mean, it seems pretty crazy to be able to find in the wild, and quite so close to me, in bigger ways, a Godzilla-themed item by any means. Laserdisc, a Japanese Laserdisc, incredibly niche, incredibly opportunistic for me to have actually visited this place and to have collected this and purchased it, and a lot of things had to happen for this to have occurred, which is actually quite insane when you think about it. But for starters, we have Godzilla versus Mothra, or, well, the original Mothra versus Godzilla, which just look at that artwork. I know somebody who will be utterly jealous of this type of thing, and it's just marvellous. If I turn it around again, you can even display the backs of these as like a further bit of intrigue on the walls and things. I really do think so, because to me these are more art than watchable, unless obviously I did get a player at any point. That would be amazing. I would love to make that work at some point in the future. We'll see how things go, but for the main part of my physical media collection, it is definitely the Blu-rays, the 4Ks that are leading the charge, shall we say. So I didn't actually expect to get any of these, and to be fair, I wasn't expecting to do this video like this. I was expecting to go through my entire Laserdisc collection, because let's not forget, this is only a portion. This is the new additions to that collection, and you've kind of got a vibe now of the things I like, to be fair. So in the future, when I do that like collection, the full collection video, you will be able to see all the other stuff that I have, and I promise you it's really exciting, and you'll absolutely love the look, the style of some of these Laserdiscs. So the final one is actually one I didn't expect to get, and that is Mothra. It's the first Mothra movie. It's definitely worth it. I certainly appreciate it for what it is. Is it my best kaiju movie out there? No, but I can certainly appreciate the artwork and the design. I'll show you the back. I'd probably give the edge in this particular instance to the Godzilla versus, or Mothra versus Godzilla, should I say. Yeah, good movies. Mothra are not my favourite kaiju, but there is a place for them in my collection, because I'm a big Godzilla fan. Anything Godzilla is usually top marks in my book. I mean, really? Really? But yeah, there's a few more instances of that in the main collection of Laserdiscs. So, all in all, this has been quite a remarkable kind of little bit of a journey here. Finding these things, the things to even get there in the first place is actually quite remarkable, and I'm so glad that I picked them up. That being said, I will say that if I had any, like, niggles here, no, niggles is the wrong word. I feel as if maybe I should have got some more. Is that bad? Is that bad? Is that going overkill? I think perhaps in this particular instance I've got quite a few like Blu-rays and pre-orders kind of done. I think I've had to put a bit of a limit on myself as to not going too overboard recently when it comes to physical media collecting. But I think I got a good selection here. I got a good deal with it, which is always good fun. But other titles that I was interested in were definitely the Ultraman, or it might have been Return of Ultraman Laserdisc. There was also a Gamera Super Monster one with like Gamera flying through space and fighting off what can only be described as Star Destroyers. That movie is odd, to say the least. But all in all, I'm happy with the ones I chose. I could have got some more, but I think I spent enough on that particular occasion. I would be like completely enthused if this particular seller came back to a potential future flea market in Biggleswade. That would be absolutely fantastic. I do have them saved on my eBay as a particular seller, so if anyone wants to know who that is, again, please let me know in the comments. That'd be absolutely fantastic. I can share that info. But anyway, of the Laserdiscs that you have seen thus far in this particular video, are there any that you would like to see, or would you recommend, that look good enough to display? Because I've got some spaces on some walls. Over there, over there, over there. They are blank wall. They need stuff going up on them, because blank wall is boring. Stuff is good. So I would like to display some of these. If you have any, like, what do you think would be good to like display, or if you have any other Laserdisc designs now going a bit kind of very deep into the Laserdisc fan territory now. If there are any fans of Laserdiscs out there that think there are some very specifically well-designed Laserdisc movies that I would really enjoy, then please let me know in the comments. I would be really excited to see if there's any out there that I haven't seen before. I would love to get hold of them as well. That would be great. But in the meantime, I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's been great sharing a portion of my Laserdisc collection with you. I know you enjoyed the CED collection, so it was only right that I followed it up with the likes of doing a Laserdisc one. However, in this particular instance, there is plenty more Laserdisc action coming soon, hopefully, as well as maybe some VHS stuff. We'll see if I can get that to work, because I do also have access to a VHS player, which is really exciting. So we can fire that up with a good old CRT TV and see some VHSs. Oh, the quality. Oh, the nostalgia. I think that's really where this all boils down to. I didn't grow up with Laserdiscs, though through the nostalgia of the movies themselves, I can fully appreciate them for what they are. The artwork and the design, the movies themselves, the representation, the embodiment of the movies themselves in the artwork of these particular releases is phenomenal, in my opinion. It is phenomenal, and sure, you can say it takes up space. Sure, you can say, what's the point? You're never going to get a Laserdisc player. I would like to think that at some point I probably would, again with the CED player. However, I suppose the only answer there is time will tell to that regard, but they serve a purpose. They have a purpose in the collection. They are part of my collection. They are very much part of my physical media collection. You can see all my Laserdisc actually on my Letterboxd account, so if you want to spoil the surprise, I suppose, you can go check out my Laserdisc collection on my Letterboxd account. So please do that in your own time if you'd like. But in the meantime, I will do a big video exploring all the fun bits and pieces I do with the other Laserdiscs, because there's plenty of cool titles in there and plenty of cool artwork that you won't be able to see on the Letterboxd account. So in the meantime, please like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next one.